without the likes of Astro, Corsair, Monster Energy, Hacks, and New Belgium Brewing Company. Thank you all for your support, and thank you very much for making this happen. Now, Twitch chat, if you're spamming sellout, you don't know how this works, my friends. Shame on you. Shame on you indeed. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, guys. First and foremost, anything that sticks out to you about this tournament outside of the teams we have in the finals?
I mean, just the fact that Vitality's here sticks out to me. Vitality played so good towards the end. It's kind of like an upward slope. Like, they started out a little bit rough, kept picking up steam better and better. Same with LG. I think Ghost Gaming and Complexity are massive disappointments. As a North American Counter-Strike fan and, you know, a caster myself, I came into this thinking these are the two favorites. These teams should easily make it out. It's heavily North American. The European teams here are struggling. I thought for sure Complexity and Ghost Gaming would be playing in the finals. So, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed by both teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is still some hope for a team like Ghost. I think it came down to like a couple of small mistakes that wound up losing them a really close game on Inferno in that map 3 of that best of 3 series. So I still think that Ghost will be a team to keep an eye on. So, you know, that's kind of just how it is. And then, you know, even for Complexity, look, they've been struggling for a little while now. I think they're going to have to really go to the drawing board. But, yeah, we do kind of have a semi-unlikely finals. I think that there was always hope Vitality could make it here, and they did kind of cash in on that. But, yeah, Luminosity, definitely not the team I thought making it to the finals. It's been a really cool Cinderella run from them.
But you want to talk about, you know, keeping an eye on something. Can you guys think of anything off the top of your head you should be keeping an eye on daily?
Your health.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, these guys are good. They've been studying back and forth there. I know you guys got flashcards in the green room. Just discussing and studying up on men's health. That's right, it's Movember. I'm rocking this beautiful stash. You can't touch it, but I can all day. I know you want to. It's fine. But we're talking about men's mental health and physical health here. That was weird. Yeah, so
the last time that someone got in front of his face, it didn't go well.
Yeah, that's true. That was true. My past life. I've given that life up. With men's mental health and health on the line here, Movember aims to raise awareness about all things that are included under the course of those topics. Now, I have actively participated here in these stretch goals. You might be wondering why I have bleached hair, or dyed hair, rather, highlights. Sadakist, on the other hand, my God. Over the top. You know what? It's enough of that. Let's just see what exactly Movember's all about.
Who would I most like to see with a Mo? Oh, dude, let me think. Okay, Blue.
My favourite person to see with a mustache is always Moses, because he looks like a little egg with a tiny little bushy beard.
I would love to see Anders shave off that monstrous beard and grace us with his mustache.
This year, we're working with Movember to change the face of men's health.
Movember is the global men's health charity.
So back in 2016 for Movember, we did some stretch goals, and I was the lucky guy who got to wax his legs live on stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And this year, we're going bigger and better.
CSGO community, we need you to rally behind this one. We need you to come together and smash it for men's health.
What people may not realize is that Movember may only be 1 month, but the causes last all year round.
Globally, 1 man a minute is taking his life by suicide.
Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
We can stop this. We can put an end to this.
We're asking the esports community to get involved this November to start conversations about men's health.
Donate, and let's save some lives together here with Movember.
Yes, while we do have stretch goals on the line, Movember aims to increase early cancer detection, diagnosis, and effective treatments, and ultimately reduce the number of preventable deaths. Besides annual checkups, the Movember Foundation encourages men to be aware of family history of cancer and, well, ultimately adopt a healthier lifestyle, which is what we're all aiming to do here. The stretch goals haven't been quite met all the way to the tippity top, but there's definitely been some damage done in the wake of the money that has been donated thus far. And, well, just get involved now. In fact, if you have a mustache, if you're a Mo's Bros, go ahead and head over to your favorite social media. Preferably Twitter. I'm just going to say it right now. Preferably Twitter. Use hashtag CSMO, and let's see that beautiful mustache of yours. In fact, I might tweet one out myself. Probably not. We'll see what happens. Guys, we have a grand final on our hands. All the playing, all the nonsense is over. It's now time to put up or shut up. It's time to get it done here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched upon this. It was a little bit interesting, the teams that we ended up getting. You know, Complexity falling a little bit short against Vitality, kind of felt like they could have closed it out. And then they got dominated on Train. The map vetoes were really peculiar. And then also looking at that Ghost series as well, Ghost kind of lost the game. They didn't, like, Luminosity did beat them, yes, but it kind of felt like Ghost gave them an extra hand. It was like Luminosity was playing with 6 players at times. A lot of mistakes made by Ghost. Just a really disappointing performance from them in that best of 3, especially when you look at that final map. So many opportunities to close it out where they just kind of over-peaking, kind of getting a little bit too aggressive, a little too confident.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all in all, this is what we hoped we would see. We hoped Vitality would come into this and actually, with all the name value they have in the lineup, finally, you know, turn it into something after some rough times online. So it's good to see them here. And look, it's good for Luminosity to finally have something to hold on to that's nice, because they definitely had a lot of struggles leading up to this event. So they finally had something they can grasp, and this should wind up being a really fun match.
Let's grasp it all right now. Let's grasp this little man. Oh, shit. Anyway, let's grasp at a different time and run right into these Hacks 3 Reasons Why. Brought to you by Dust Moret. Take it away, Dust.
Yes, I want to give you 3 reasons why this is going to be a fun match to follow. The first one is because we're going to see a lot of explosive plays. Both of these teams are entering this tournament with a much looser style of play. That's always been kind of a thing the French scene has done. It's something that is new for Luminosity, with Yell becoming the in-game leader, getting away from Steel's more structured, slow-paced style. So you're going to see a lot of loose playmaking, a lot of individual freedom. There's definitely some big playmakers on both of these teams. And that's going to lead me to my next thing is name value. You know, you have someone like Zywoo there now who is certainly looking like a very explosive player, a very young up-and-coming player with a lot of talent. You're going to get to see him go into a finals and see what more he can do. And you have a guy over there like Henny on Luminosity who also does all those crazy flashy plays. A lot of these players have been in the scene for a very long time. Everyone's going to be aware of them, so they get to go toe-to-toe, and that's always going to be fun to see. Another reason why this is fun is because it's really hard to read. I mean, honestly, the sample size for Vitality is very small. Obviously struggled coming into the tournament, but now we're starting to see some flashes of brilliance we were hoping to see. And then, hell, for Luminosity, this has been a Cinderella story. I mean, when they stepped into this event, I thought it was just going to be another group stage exit like almost every other LAN has been for the last year and a half besides Valencia. Yet they've made it all the way here to the finals off of some really good individual play from their lineup. And so that all combined should really make this one a banger.
A banger indeed, brought to you by HacksGG and all the lovely sponsors. Sorry, little guy, I didn't mean to hurt you right there. Yes, HacksGG, the official apparel sponsor of DreamHack, and Dust Moret, one of the analysts. So there's that. Match made in
just
heaven.
one of them. Yep.
Just a match made in heaven, almost, if you think about it. Just like that hashtag DHOpen that you should be using and getting activated over there on your favorite social media. As well as grabbing your Astro headset. Let's all join the family together, astrogaming.com. Make sure to check out the offerings from Astro Gaming and join the family via the link on the screen right now. My goodness, Bach, what do you got to say about that?
I mean, I think heads are going to roll.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good one. Well, guys, honestly, we've joined the family of Astro. We've gone over 3 reasons. But now we need to start talking about the very specifics of this grand final, of this best of 3, the map vetoes themselves. This is a digital battleground for many, and for some, they might be getting the short end of the stick here.
Yeah, I think that this is pretty clear-cut for Luminosity. I think they should just go ahead and ban Nuked. I mean, they never play it. They know that Vitality is capable of playing. We've seen them play it twice now at this event. They've done pretty well on it, so I think that should certainly scare Luminosity away from letting Nuke go through, so I expect that. As far as bans for Vitality, this one's actually quite hard because I feel like they've played all the maps about an equal amount when you combine like online and offline play, the only exception of which would be Train, but they just smashed Complexity on it, and apparently they've practiced it a lot, so they feel confident playing it. So I'm not really sure if they would, you know, maybe just try to ban what they think is like a perceived strength of Luminosity. Maybe you try to get away from an Inferno or get away from one of these maps that they have actually been performing on pretty well recently. But other than that, I think Vitality is kind of wide open. I still don't think we really know what their map pool is just because they haven't played that many games yet.
I can see them actually coming out and banning Train right off the bat, just because LG does have a decent track record on Train, so you're like looking at a map like, okay, yes, we did just beat Complexity. We kind of hung that bait on the hook, and they, you know, obviously sunk their teeth into it. So I could see them still going back and saying, you know what, yeah, sure, we beat Complexity, but LG's a way better team on Train. I don't think that makes sense to necessarily go after them. Plus, they just saw everything that we're going to do. We kind of got lucky to a certain degree, like playing hyper-aggressive against Complexity, catching them off guard, because that team also doesn't really play Train all that much. So, yeah, there you go. They do come out and ban Train. I'm not entirely surprised by that. I do think it makes sense from Vitality. It was kind of like an ace in the hole play to get past Complexity. I don't think it's a bold enough, or I think it's too bold of a move to kind of pull that one out against LG.
Yeah, so now when it comes to picks, I mean, look, for Vitality, their comfort has really kind of rested upon maps like Cash and Inferno, at least from the online play, and we have seen them be able to break it out this event, at least Cash. So with Nuke not being there, which is the map they've won the most in this tournament, I think that could be some of the directions that they're going to head towards. Maybe Dust 2 again. They obviously just won that. Had a pretty good game there on that as well. So that's kind of what I'm expecting for Luminosity. Again, it's kind of up in the air.
Could be Overpass as well.
I think Mirage is actually a pretty smart pick there from Luminosity. That's typically been a weaker map for some of these French players. On some of their previous teams, they didn't even play Mirage at all. Remember, Apex famously had to call on that specific map on previous teams because its in-game leader and that's a team didn't really play the map. So I can understand why Luminosity would do that. And yeah, we have seen Vitality do pretty well online on Overpass.
And then the final is going to be Cash. You know, we've seen Vitality play Cash. They started off the tournament run playing against Ghost. They actually had a pretty decent game against Ghost. It wasn't as good as the numbers maybe indicate. They were a little bit sloppy. Won a lot of rounds off just individual players really stepping up. But at the same point in time, they were playing against a better team. So I could see them easily taking Cash if it even goes that far. Because at this point, I'm looking at Vitality and the way they've been trending upward. And yeah, Luminosity got here, but it was a really tight game. I think that Vitality looked like a better team coming into the Grand Finals than LG did.
You talk about how they got there, and perhaps we just hear from the teams themselves. Let's go on a little adventure known as Video Land. We can all sit down together. I hope you've got your popcorn, your Twizzlers, and everything else you can think of there in between. Let's go. Vamos.
I'm very happy, especially about the way the team grew throughout the tournament. The first day was very shaky, and we asked ourselves the right questions after we lost. And I think that was the main reason why we came back much stronger on day 2 and now on day 3, taking out complexity. And yeah, I've been really looking forward to the final because that's the only thing we're looking to. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Well, the team of Luminosity are getting buckled in, strapped in. If there's one thing I know to be true, we can never call them Luminosity with Steel in the lineup. That's for damn sure, because this guy has been smiling ear to ear ever since. Probably he was born, to be truthful, but at least now that he's in the Grand Finals, you can tell that the vibe and the atmosphere within this camp is palpable.
Yeah, I mean, they have done so well throughout this tournament in comparison to what things looked like when they stepped into the first match of this event. You know, lots of struggles online, getting demoted to Mountain Dew League, you know, not really doing so well elsewhere either. You know, outside of DreamHack Valencia, struggling in the offline environment as well. So it feels nice to finally have something go their way, I'm sure. Definitely Steel talked about how it helps build the confidence, builds the emotions. They're a very passionate team. They're a very emotional team. That can obviously come to haunt you if things start going poorly. But for right now, things seem on the up and up. They've adjusted to their new in-game leader, Yale, who's calling a much looser style. It seems like some of these players are thriving in that style. Like Henny's always kind of liked to play that way. So is Lucas, so they're flourishing. But even Steel in a new role, kind of more of an entry fragger. He's never done that before in his career, but he's been playing a really great Atlanta event. And I feel like somehow, some way, despite the fact that it doesn't feel like this is a type of play that can be totally reliable, so far it's been working for them. If they can just keep it up a little bit longer, they might at least get a trophy before things start to bust.
I mean, one of the things I really loved about Luminosity as the event went on is that we started to see increased performance from Lucas and Nekaz on the ends.
Yeah.
Because they were the two players who were maybe a little bit more lackluster. You wouldn't necessarily expect to see them towards the top of the charts. Nekaz had a couple of really big games to get LG to this point, and same with Lucas in that final best of 3 against Ghost earlier. Like, they just looked so good at times. Lucas really stepped up in the playoffs, especially, even though during the groups he was kind of a non-factor. But you keep talking about Steele. Steele has been obviously one of the most surprising aspects of this team, because he did go from being probably one of the more disappointing statistical performers for Brazilian teams. He was constantly getting nixed from teams and spoken about as a guy like, oh, we need to get rid of this guy. Why is he still on the team? He's not doing so hot. I think the role that they've put him in now, he's shining. He's looking so good.
Yeah, it is definitely surprising. It's also surprising the fact that they picked Mirage. This is actually statistically one of their worst maps online, and also even offline is one of their worst maps, yet they're peeking into it. But everything's been surprises for this event, so why not surprise me with that and pull it off somehow?
Do something strange for a little piece of change. At least that's what's going on over the Vitality side, as we did just see them play. They were the last semifinalists that we were able to crown here at the very least, and now they're looking to grab the crown of the grand final, which make them the champion, I guess.
Yeah.
Mirage. RPK, ZywOo, MBK, Apex, happy if you're just joining us. The French side is here, and they're looking fierce, especially with ZywOo dropping a ridiculous series.
80 kills
across 3 maps. Outrageous.
108 ADR. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster on Train on that CT side. 27 kills alone on that half, and then obviously carried it over to Nuke, and like you said, a really great overall series. And then they come into this, looking like they've been getting stronger finally. I mean, they really suffered from all those best of ones they had to play in different open qualifiers for the European Minor, not qualifying for DreamHack Winner. Still wondering what's going to happen with their EU Minor story. They come into this event, the one thing they were able to qualify for, shook up by Ghost on Cash. They looked shook in general. A lot of, hesitancy on their mid-round shot calling, seemed to just be really too timid. That's something they've been trying to work on throughout the event. They're going to go into a Mirage map where they've, kind of struggled in online play, but we did at least see them pull it out earlier in this tournament and look pretty good. And I think the one great thing about this map is it lets ZywOo go free with AWP on both sides of the map. And this is also a map that Apex personally feels comfortable playing on. Definitely a guy who can get you your entry frag across the board. I think this is also one of the maps where I've seen them at least have a little bit more to their playbook compared to some of the other maps. They actually do have some nice set pieces. Yeah, they're going to typically play loose, but at least they have some pages to turn if that's not working out, to do some coordinated attacks and try to get something going.
I mean, with what ZywOo has made his statement here in Atlanta, with that, I mean, I guess thinking about the entire team looking at ZywOo as like, hey, man, we need you to keep doing that, because right now that's really kind of sealing the deal for us.
Yeah, but on the flip side, LG's kind of the same way. When they played Mirage earlier in this event against E-United, it was really Henny that kind of saved the day. And a lot of that was due to the fact that E-United kind of underutilized their utility. You saw a lot of rounds where Henny was able to kind of just get into the connector, throw down a smoke on top of the molly they were using, and they would jump out mid and he'd get 2 picks right off the bat, and they couldn't do anything to stop him. So I do kind of think that Vitality needs to be a little bit more careful and precautious with the nades, because Henny's going to try to put himself in positions that's really going to be irritating for them, especially on the CT side. But the same could be said for ZywOo. I feel like these players are very similar in style. I just feel like ZywOo is a better player potentially and has a way higher ceiling from what we've seen thus far.
ZywOo and Henny, not a player to player I would think we'd ever see, really, because you've got a pure rookie in one, and then in the other you've got a runner-up to a major, which is crazy to consider how this all unfolded in that way. And you can help us to continue to unfold this one. We can all pack it up together. But we're going to unfold it now with your vote in the Twitch chat using !LG or !V. And make sure that while you're at it, note that the LG Ultra Gear gaming monitor has 240 hertz of pain. And boy, you better believe that it's going to be painful if you don't have all those hertz. Check out these odds, though. Guys, these are the odds brought to you by GG.bet. And let's talk a little bit about those numbers before we get into the predictions.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of slightly favoring Vitality. This is a tough one for me because, look, Luminosity has really relied on big individual playmaking, really big clutch plays, Henny doing these flashy things to kind of get them to survive matches that look like they were probably going to fall out of. In the meantime, I feel like Vitality's been heavily reliant upon big CT sides. I mean, their T sides on Nuke have been pretty good, but they're not going to get to play those now. Their T sides on like Overpass and the other maps they had to play in this tournament looked a little bit shaky at best, so I think that that's something they really need to focus on. We haven't seen them play Mirage yet offline, but online they did, again, show me a little bit of something, a little bit more structure than what I've seen throughout this tournament. I hope they can carry that over. They're going to need it.
Well, you guys are going to need some help too, because now you have to predict for the entire series, the entire best of 3. We're not doing it per map. This is not a drill. This is not rehearsal. And we're going to start with you, Dust, because you didn't want to start earlier, so now you have to start.
Well, I still had to start earlier anyway.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I'll go with Vitality.
I'm actually going to agree. I think that Vitality looked really good against Complexity. I understand that the map pool was different, but Vitality just seemed to be clicking. They're coming into this one hot off of that series as well. I'm going to have to go with Vitality.
And as much as I like the story that is the Frenchman, I'm going to have to side with Luminosity. Yes, they've had a little bit of time to cool off since their game, but I think that's completely okay. They're pretty level-headed when it comes to bringing it back full circle. So yeah, I'm going the opposite of you guys just because I kind of can, I guess. Because
yeah,
I
why not?
Want to.
To be fair, Luminosity said they liked when we picked against them. So
You're
I'm just trying to satisfy both sides. That's really all that's happening here.
So we're going to be seeing what you've been doing in Twitch chat, all those Omega lulls, all those regular spams, all the Bible thumps and everything that you could have thought to get out there in chat alongside of your vote, of course, the LG fan vote, which is what we were waiting on. But I guess if we're going to continue to look into this one a little bit deeper, let's begin to talk a little bit about the first map, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to be Mirage. So let's kind of focus around there pre-show wise.
Yeah, so when you look at Mirage, again, this has been typically a weaker map for Luminosity, but they are going to like a looser style of play, which I think Mirage you can get away with doing those faster pace executes. It seems like Henny is thriving. Sometimes he's opting, sometimes he's rifling. Him and Yell are kind of juggling that around. But I think I want to keep my eyes on Steel because, again, he's the one playing a new role for this team coming into this tournament, being more of an entry fragger. He's going to be the guy playing mid, trying to take control instead of playing the edge of the map like he's done pretty much his entire career. So I want to see how Steel handles that against some really skilled players on Vitality. And then, again, I want to watch Zywoo continue this story of being a great player. This is a map where time and time again, operas have been able to really be dynamic, move around, be mobile. That's what Zywoo's going to be able to do on this map as well. I think those are going to be kind of the key players for each team is like what can Steel do in his new role, and then can Zywoo continue to play well.
I think one of the issues is going to be money because we watched E United and Luminosity play on Mirage earlier, and obviously Luminosity had the money, they kept the AWP in Henny's hands. The issue is that like Zywoo doesn't need an AWP. Zywoo can rifle as well, and when I look at Zywoo's rifle, I would actually say that Zywoo is as good with a rifle as everyone on Luminosity is. The way that we saw him play at times, he looks very strong with a rifle or an AWP. Is he better as an AWP? Yes. But can he also rifle? Yes. That's something that I don't think you can necessarily say about Henny. I think that Henny is lacking in that department to a certain degree. So if Luminosity has issues with their money and keeping the AWP in play, that could actually be a big part of the reason why Vitality could take this map.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think they've heard enough from us. I think we've done enough talking for the time being, and well, I think it's time to bring in the commentators for the grand finals, the light featherweights of the commentary world. We do have Hugo and just Harry GG over there, and I guess on our way out, I'm going to say obrigado to the viewers at home, all the Portuguese. You know what, guys? Who do you think's going to win?
I got Luminosity in this one, Trace. I'll be agreeing with you. I think they've looked fantastic thus far. I think that Henny is really coming to his own. I think Steel's been fantastic as well. Hugo, how about you, man?
I'll spice it up. I'll go with the side of Vitality.
Yeah, we got a bit of a disagreement here. We heard what the guys on the desk had to say. But Hugo, how are you feeling as we get ready to head into this match?
Oh, I'm so ready. I can't wait to see Zywoo in his first grand final as well. That's going to be a massive factor, of course. You know, this is such a crazy story for Vitality especially, right? We've seen Luminosity in these DreamHack grand finals before. They've had a chance, at least back in Valencia, where they fell to North. But now it's a whole different beast, right? We got major winners on both sides. On major finalists on both sides, rather. So I really think this is going to be a great matchup, and the map pool as well is really exciting to bring into this. Mirage overpassed Cash, and with none of these kind of like secret pocket picks like Train in that previous semi-final with Vitality Surprise and Complexity saving that for a rainy day. But the sun's out here in Atlanta, Harry, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we almost certainly are. For me, the two players I want to be keeping an eye on either team. Going to be Zywoo, obviously, over the side of Team Vitality. It's been fantastic following him, this youngster coming into this, carrying this team to victory. Almost, what, it was 81 kills or something in that best of 3 just earlier on. And then over in the Luminosity camp, I think you got to look at Henny. You got to look for that head-to-head. You have to look at these two going blow for blow, the two AWPers for either team, and there's going to be no paradise better for that duel than Mirage. That's the first map we're heading into. And as we get the first map of this grand final underway, we can see Luminosity over on the T side, utility for Yell and Steel. They're going to be lining this up over here toward A. But already Vitality, they're already switching things up. They're heading down the ramp. They're trying to take these fights, and Luminosity, they might get caught off guard.
Oh, Steel's going to be the first to fall. This Palace split needs to come through, but we've got Happy up on the balcony to try and lock that one down. They already baited into the two players on ramp, and Happy, he can't hit his shots. That's going to let Luminosity get onto the bomb site, and Neckers to find a frag from the Palace. Henny's still shooting down. Zywoo's caught on the ramp, but MBK does come to bail him out in the jungle. This leaves just Neckers.
And he's got a lot to do. Trapped in this 1v2. He's going to get locked on down by MBK. The Team Vitality, it's a bit back and forth there as players do manage to get out from the Palace. Happy missing a couple of shots as well. But all in all, they're able to go ahead and find the round, picking that up early on here on Mirage. And Now trying to position themselves well to find an early start over in the Luminosity camp. They will just be taking the eco. We've seen this team opt to go for these force buys occasionally, more so over on the CT side, but you know, they've been fine with it. They're looking like to be a waterfall out from the Palace. 4 players here going to go barreling on in to MBK. And okay, they are going to find him. They do manage to get that bomb into the bomb site, so it can look to go down, and it will. With milliseconds to spare, ZywOo going to round the corner and go ahead and grab the defuse. Vitality find themselves a second, but that bomb going down is fantastic for Luminosity.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this upcoming round as well now, because Henny had 2 650, so he's going to be able to pull in that AWP into this first buy round. And to note as well, Vitality have been so okay with pulling in bonus rounds. They rarely upgrade to this AWP earlier, as mentioned by Bok on the desk, right? ZywOo, capable rifler, capable AWPer. Doesn't matter what gun he's got, so we're going to be seeing the AWP out on Henny. ZywOo does, for a change, go straight into that on the first buy round on the CT side, while still running 2 FAMASes and an MP9. So a bit topsy-turvy here for Vitality, but when you got ZywOo on your team, anything is doable. He's down in middle for now. Henny trying to pick up a kill towards the B apartments, but he gets mollied out deep. So Vitality taking early control of apps, and RPK, he's making a lot of noise. This is going to be very clear. The flash is there, but Henny is as well. And a shot while blind will take down RPK to start things off for Luminosity.
Fully flashed, but he's still putting up numbers as Henny. Man advantage gate here, as you say, for the Luminosity side early on. And Vitality, they have gone for one of these signature attempts at the bonus round. Happy is going to get Molotov'd out from the platform and has to hop on down. Meanwhile, MBK trying to spot out what he can over here at this A bomb site. There are players toward this position. Lucas going to be here alongside Yelp. Keeping an eye on this portion of the map. ZywOo going to try and take his AWP down in toward middle and see if that's going to yield any results. Right now, Luminosity starting to show a little bit of interest perhaps in mid, but no, they turn away, and it's going to go ahead and regroup back up in T-spawn down here toward the ramp now, and they're looking to try meander their way in toward this A-bomb site. 2 players lying in wait for Vitality, but one of those is MBK, only armed with this MP9. Hidden under the scaffolding right now, 25 seconds, and MBK, all he's got to do is buy time. Rotation from ZywOo down into CT, and he's going to peek on out. He does pluck Henny from this round, and it's going to go ahead and land a collateral. That allows MBK to swoop on in and find 2 of his own. He's looking for number 3, and there's only 13 seconds. That bomb is dropped out in the open. Luminosity, they have to pick up the pace, and instead they're going to get shot in the back. Apex and Happy managing to collapse on a steal, and Lucas, he's not long for this world. 1v4, 1 second left on the clock. He's just going to go ahead and look to try and hold onto the AKs to Vitality. That bonus round, you wouldn't have known that they kept a few SMGs into that one.
And that almost went very wrong for them as well, right? Obviously, we had the first pick go the way of the T side, but Vitality actually rotated out of A and were running a double connector setup. That would have been fine playing for the retake, but the rotation would have taken so long considering 2 of their players were in the B apartments at the time that Luminosity went for the execute. So pretty huge. MBK finds 2 kills under that balcony, and ZywOo starts it off from the CT spawn, also killing the counter AWPer of Luminosity. And he's now down on a pistol alongside the rest of the roster. It's only Lucas with the save gun. ZywOo missing an opening kill up towards the Palace, but it's not a big problem considering we don't really have a lot to play with. However, that would have been that 1 AK taken out nice and early. Definitely would have made things easier for Vitality, but right now, Neck is jumping into middle, getting his head blown clean off, and Luminosity just trying to pressure his connector to draw the attention of Vitality to allow for this split out from Palace. Lucas is going to be the point man of this round, but Apex, he's already crushing these players in middle. Happy's going to be going down to the Deagle, but there's a split from Palace, and Lucas traded straight away after 1.
Yeah, just Henny left up, they know where he is, and RPK gonna delete him. They managed to hold those 2 AWPs forward as well into the next round over on the side of Vitality. What a debut it has been from ZywOo. Even in that round, they're getting stuck in early on, finding the openers. You imagine if you're ZywOo coming into this, you're very unproven. There's been a lot of hype around him for the longest time, but you're heading into a squad with just seasoned veterans of the French Counter-Strike scene, and all going to miss that shot, but Happy's there to bail him out, so a bit of an uncharacteristic miss from ZywOo. Not going to miss it the second time around, though. Yell is not so lucky. They might not strike in the same place twice, but tell you what, ZywOo certainly does, as he shuts them down over in middle. This bomb has made it across, although Feels like a bit of a curse at this point, as right now it's trapped on the back of Henny over in the top of mid. He does have a smoke, and he's got Steel out through lower tunnels. Keeping an eye on window right now. Lucas, meanwhile, on this ramp position. You can see Luminosity very worried that maybe Vitality have extended elsewhere on the map, but they are going to catch Apex as they rotate up through connector. Now MBK roars to life. And this leaves Henny and Lucas, the twins, the brothers, in the hot seat for Luminosity.
But it's so difficult with only one player coming out of ramp. Henny's got to walk his way up connector while worrying about both short and that A bomb site, and he definitely needs to worry about short. ZywOo's there with the orb. Split up our Luminosity. ZywOo's beginning to fall back, gives Henny an opportunity. That Molotov gets smoked out and he jumps right into it. So now Happy needs to be aware of this position, but also can't afford to give ramp control away to Luminosity. You can't let this one man come out. 30 seconds on the clock. The push is there, but Happy's already shut it down. And now MBK, he knows Henny's here. Henny's found one at least, but it will be the trade to keep Vitality in this round. 5-0, off to a strong start. It's nice to see these orbs remaining unpredictable, though, for Vitality, constantly switching up their opening positions. We're seeing connector peaks, we're seeing top mid plays, we're seeing that short boost from ZywOo. And yeah, okay, Henny, he may be such a strong AWPer for Luminosity, but if you can constantly avoid him and constantly switch it up and catch out other setting up players of Luminosity, you're going to be kicking off a lot of these rounds with man advantages. So nice start from Vitality, off to a good lead. But this is where Luminosity need to crunch numbers and come back in with one of their own.
Almost definitely. I mean, you know, Vitality getting off to such a good start on the map pick of Luminosity really doesn't inspire too much confidence here early on for the Brazilian squad. Tell you what, though, I mean, you kind of look at the path that these two teams have taken throughout this event, and it's been very similar for either. You know, they both lose their opening games. That doesn't go their way. Then they move into the best of threes. They each drop one map in total across the 3 best of threes that they played to take them here. So it does seem, at least on paper, like this should be a more equal game than what it's showing to be right now. It is just going to be partial investment here for the Brazilian squad. Steel wrapping in through lower tunnels. Important to note as well, Vitality were the last team to play, so you have had some time to study them, some time to watch and get an understanding how they might play this. Here's Steel opening up with 2, but it's instantly into the maws of ZywOo. MBK going to mow down 2 over at Tetris. Vitality, they're certainly not up to playing games. It's a 6-0 lead right now for the Frenchman. The buy is at least on the horizon for this Luminosity squad.
Yeah, not a huge worry, only losing a round with pistols anyway, and so they can go forward with the full buy and knowing that they at least have Henny on the AWP. This is where he needs to come to life. This has been a man that has carried Luminosity through this event. In fact, the top 2 rated players of this event so far are ZywOo and Henny. So it really is an AWPer's paradise. Henny for this round, deep in the B apartments once again. He's still looking for this pick. He found it a few rounds ago to that aggressive RPK push, but this time he's jump spotting. This can always get dangerous, especially against someone with such lightning fast reactions, but he's not going to hit the shot. The molly pushes Henny forward, and already we're seeing a bit of a rotate back down to B4 Vitality. Happy is making sure he stays within the bomb site. So Henny's going to have a tough time of actually finding picks here unless someone jumps again. And RPK certainly looks like he's considering it, but a smoke down will keep Henny out of it for now. And Luminosity, you could see with them holding a really passive default towards the top of middle and just waiting around the palace, they are really just relying on Henny to find a kill here. That's the entire setup right now. See if Vitality get aggressive, see if a frag goes your way, but if it doesn't, they need a game plan. They do have the smokes for it, but they've yet to even gain mid control.
And that's the worrying thing. I mean, you got ZywOo posted up here, Apex as well, lying in wait, just back to the top of mid, playing the anti-flash right now, doubles up as he does keep an eye on Lois. And he's going to go peeking into this, so he actually does just walk into the crosshair of Henny. And now that might have taken Luminosity, you can see this is what they were waiting for. They're so quick to act on the back of it. Smoking off this B bomb site initially, and that's pulled all these rotations in. 3 players here for Vitality, and that leaves all the pressure on to MBK. Deep within the depths of CT spawn, he's going to get Molotov off at the angle right now. Tries to stick around a little bit. And MBK, they walk on into his crosshair, but he's only good for 1. Now Steel on this pincer on in from behind. Going to start to apply the pressure at Luminosity, looking like they might pick up their first round here and now. It's only ZywOo and Happy left, double AWP in the retake. And as good as ZywOo has been, this is asking a lot of him. Yeah, he's just hiding.
That's a really nice round from Luminosity, right? They have what seemingly looks like no game plan, considering they have no map control apart from B apartments, right? And they're just holding towards the top of middle. They throw in the full B execute, Vitality start to expect the B play, and then straight out of nowhere, they run right back towards middle. Apex gives a kill over to the T side as well, because he tries to rotate up through short. And from that point on, Luminosity can take mid, go connector, get A, and as soon as Vitality realize it's actually the A site, Steel comes in from the backline, just stabbing into the behinds of Vitality. So, first round taken, as you say. Luminosity in with a chance to keep this up, but they can't afford to get reset just yet.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me with Luminosity, Henny's looked fantastic. Another man who they've had stepping up in every game thus far has been Steel. He's looked just fun. You know, he's always been getting these high impact kills. He's the man trading. He's the man keeping things in the advantage of Luminosity. The X factor for me, and the thing that can really make a difference for the Brazilian squad, is going to be Lucas, because in that series versus Ghost, he was, you know, top in the charts. He was looking fantastic there. But we're going to need to see that again from him, because his brother Henny, as we said, has been looking damn near flawless thus far. Henny as well, after watching him at this event, you've probably learned very animated play. You know, you can really tell how he's feeling based on these camera reactions that we can see. Usually someone who gets very animated, very involved with the crowd. Zywoo, maybe not so much so. Luminosity, it's a slow start to this round anyway. They're just creeping on over. They've had a decent bit of success down in mid in these last few rounds, and ooh, that luck might look to continue as there's a man skulking around down in the connector. That's going to be happy. Yell gets run boosted out. Won't be spotted by Vitality just yet, so taking them a little bit of time at Luminosity, have methodically cleared out this top portion of mid at the very least.
And these are such slow-paced rounds for Luminosity, right? We expect fast, blinding executes. We expect quick pushes from Luminosity, but right now they are playing a very default style of CS. It did win them that previous round, and the first early rushes weren't too great for them, but maybe this could be the recipe for them. Vitality still with the man up. Luminosity looking to split that B bomb site. This earlier mid control taken has given them a chance to get up short, and that push up on top of the stairwell there from MBK maybe mistimed. He goes back into the scope of Yell. Another kill for Luminosity to try and equalize things, and now they'll push on into the B bomb site. RBK's there. He's good for one. Happy catches the cross. The bomb's yet to get herself out of the apartment, so there's only 10 seconds left. Henny wins a crucial fight, and that's going to allow for a bomb plant as long as Zywoo doesn't come in from the back, and he's done exactly that, winning the round for Vitality. Lucas just too far away. And that's a mess for Luminosity. The slow pace comes back to bite them in the worst of ways.
Yeah, just not enough time left on the clock. Lucas, you know, really putting a lot of faith in his brother there, you know, so far away from that bomb site. You know, as we saw, if Henny does get dropped on the cross, there's no way back into that. So instantly we're back at a 7-1 scoreline. Vitality going to be attempting to reset Luminosity on the back of this round if they can. And you do mention one of the things that we've seen from Luminosity, normally these have been very explosive, very fast rounds. We haven't really seen too much of a reliance on having this lurk roll. You know, we've seen Steel in this map playing over in the apartments, Lucas that round over in Palace. Usually it has been more about the brute force of finding these early picks for Luminosity throughout this event. So they are already kind of playing a different brand, trying to adapt to what they think Vitality are bringing to the table. But one thing is for certain, Luminosity don't look too comfortable playing this style right now. Yell's down here in the lower tunnels. He has got a man with him to try and help out, and they smoke like Zywoo. He's going to go down into the maws of these players at lower tunnels, but now at the mercy of Apex. He's only good for one. Steel's back with a double. We mentioned how that's been something he's been so good at, is finding these trades. Finally, MBK is going to deal with him, but now it's Lucas opening up a whole different kettle of fish inside of this A bomb site.
Okay, he's pushed forward by the Molotov. That's going to come back to bite him as Nekis finds the headshot, and it is just Happy left alive with the AWP. That was a sitter, but just falling off the top of the stairs is going to be that player surviving in the sandwich, and now Happy, he could have stopped the bomb from crossing, but it's already gotten into position because he rotated back around that connector. Molotov won't do a thing. Luminosity have already got the bomb down, and in a 3-on-1, it's going to have to be that save. Vitality may have found the reset in the previous round, but Luminosity do recover with the force buy. I say force buy, it was 3 rifles with an AWP and a deagle. But it's not going to be a huge problem now for Vitality. Zywoo is being the bank of the team. That was his first death there, just jumping into underpass. I'd love to know why. Lucas making sure there's no one sticking this bomb on the exit. And that will be Luminosity taking 2 here for the T side. A slow start, Harry, but better late than never.
Most definitely, especially with Steel kind of starting to show some signs of life in that round there. Finding this double, able to open things up not only onto ZywOo, taking down the real titan of this French team, and able to find another as well in the form of Apex up at top mid. That will be a second round on the board for Luminosity. And for Vitality, they were able to hold on to that AWP. Tactical port is going to be called on in. They've been pretty liberal with these throughout their games today. Have a little bit of time now, you know, and this is kind of speaking volumes. They've only conceded 2 rounds thus far the way of Luminosity, and they're not happy with how that previous one went down.
I mean, while you wouldn't have been surprised that these 2 teams in the grand final coming into the event, it was a bit of a surprise to see both these guys drop their opening matchup coming into the group stage, especially considering they were up against 2, you know, upcoming North American teams in North America. But no, it's no NA teams today in the grand final. The Frenchmen and the Brazilians battling it out. Boost up towards B, going to be actually catching out Henny. Happy goes up on top of RPK's head, and we've seen the amount of times that Henny's tried to go for that peak, so Vitality adapting to it, getting ready for that pace. The AWP already being removed, and this was a pretty key thing for Vitality to actually get away with this win. They need to get rid of the AWP, but Nekis has got rid of 2 on this A bomb site in the meantime, opening it up for the taking. 1 more man rotating in while the smoke's being set up, and Apex is only good for 1 more. It's a 2-on-3 here, but Luminosity have yet to get this bomb towards the A side.
It is beginning this rotation round. Going to look to try and join up with Lucas, who is making noise up in Palace. He's certainly making his presence known, and he is tagged down low. RPK trying to buy time for Happy to build up a position over on short, but nothing comes of it. Instead, it's Steel to go ahead and delete him from this mid position, and now hunting down the AWP on the back of Happy as well.
That was a really nice bait play from Luminosity as well. They had 1 in Palace who was low, another man on ramp with the bomb, right? So you don't want either of those to really commit to a fight and lose it. So as a result, they're just bait peeking up from their positions to allow a split up connector. And that's what kills the last man on the A bomb site, essentially winning the round because they get the bomb down as a result. So yeah, really nice delayed play from Luminosity because they had to wait for that bomb to come in. 7-3, and they've finally done it, Harry. They broke the money of Vitality, so we do have pistols here for the Frenchmen. Typically an iconic French buy, but I guess not anymore, especially not when they've not even really bought into this one. It's only 2 investments and already a mid-push coming through. That's not going to be successful. ZywOo's been taken out. There's 4 more where that came from, but Luminosity just mopping them up. A couple of kills come through for Vitality, though, and those are guns dropped over. If they can retrieve them, there's a chance for Vitality to keep up the damage, and damage is exactly what Apex is doing.
He's now been able to pick up an AK, and there's a real chance for him in this round. The one thing that could go unnoticed is this man down in CT, and Apex does not look ready for it. Gonna try and flick up onto Lucas, but the aim punch playing into that. You can see his crosshair up in the sky. And Luminosity will manage to, albeit by the skin of their teeth, find another round here. Starting to build back up and get into this game, but it hasn't been easy pickings thus far. It has been a bit of a struggle. Even that round there where Vitality, as you mentioned, it wasn't the usual sort of French force buy that everyone is all too familiar with. It was just a couple of CZs, a deagle here and there. Vitality back with a buy. The AWP going to be out on ZywOo. This time no double AWP. Happy not going to be donning one of them. He's back onto the M4. This time perhaps a much more immediate stance from Luminosity over here toward this B bomb site, ready to crack into action the second these smokes dissipate. Not waiting around in middle, not trying to play off these picks anymore. Maybe just going to see a set piece in toward B.
We've still got Lucas on that flank as well, so that allows him to do 2 things. Either come in and clean up rotations from Vitality once they're convinced it's a B play, or even to push and try and sell a fake for his team. Unfortunately, he has no real utility to do that, so it does really rely on these players getting into the B bomb site, and that's exactly what Luminosity were looking to do, but right now it's a drop down underpass. Again, the B fake smokes. Henny going to go ahead with it. It was Steel last time, but Luminosity, they've still got a lot of utility left, so this smells of a double fake, them coming back to something later in the round after they've established this mid control, and with a boost coming through as well, it's going to be well timed. ZywOo's rotated off. That opens up the window room. Luminosity, they have some strong map control right now. Apex will spot Yell, taking him out of the picture, but Nekis is coming in on the backline, and that, with 30 seconds left, could win Luminosity the round.
Oh, but he's been red, and Apex able to sniff out another. And now the pressure on to the boys up in the apartments. It's Steel and Henny. I spoke a lot about these two and how impressed that we've been with them. They have to try and get past the tank. RPK sitting inside of this B bomb site alone, looking to try hold back the Brazilian duo. They are going to get spotted out, and RPK fighting for his life now, wasting time, and he's doing more than that. Missed shot from Henny, and now just 5 seconds. He has to get this bomb down, and he's not going to in time. The round going to be picked up by Vitality here, and Henny might even go down after time thanks to this flank round from Happy. That is a disaster for Luminosity.
I'm liking these B fake rounds from Luminosity. The problem is, both times they've done it, it's come down to the time more than anything. These are winnable clutches. These are winnable 2vx situations down on the B bomb site, but they've just got 10, 15 seconds left every single time, especially when Vitality, they were completely convinced that was an A play. RPK almost rotated off of the bomb site after we saw Lucas up in the palace and Nekis go down in the jungle. Now Luminosity maybe going back to something a little more basic, a bit of a faster approach. A quick A play after all. MBK, he's got a jiggle. He's going back and forth. Still not yet to find a kill, but he's done so much damage. And that will get cleaned up by Apex. 2 from him. ZywOo with a double. And with the bomb down on ramp, Nekis too far away to stop this.
Yeah, he's a long way from home right now, and it's a perilous journey back toward this A bomb site. Still 5 players left up. He's going to tag down RPK, but now all that's done is ring the dinner bell. You can see Vitality hightailing it over here toward this B bomb site, going to try and track him down and make him feel very claustrophobic indeed. Nekis lost the rest of his Brazilian brethren over at A. The bombs dropped there as well, and he's got a long road if he wants to try and build anything back into this round. There is at least a rifle to be picked up over here in the kitchen. So he's going to have that to work with at the very least. Might even catch the timing onto Apex. Indeed he does. Nekis as a man in the murder hole. And is he going to go ahead and realize in time? Indeed he does. So now he's skipped on by that as well. And he's dodging these hazards. He's hipping and skipping around in through CT. Going to try and get up past that Molotov. And indeed he does. Nekis baiting out these shots, trying to get all the info in the world. But ZywOo is just faster on the trigger. So you get a bit worried there, but Vitality managing to hold on to that 9th round. Lock that one in with 3 players surviving.
And we're still really yet to see Henny get into this game, right? He is near the top of his board alongside Steel, but I mean, it's not exactly been those opening picks round after round that we've been seeing him do throughout the rest of the event. Even if we think back to the previous best of 3 they played versus Ghost, I mean, Henny just going absolutely incredible on that game. In fact, across the best of 3 series, he got 58 kills, 46 of them being with the AWP, so that just shows how reliant Luminosity are on that weapon. And right now, they can't afford it. Just pistols here in this one. Apex having found that first kill, Luminosity looking to group up towards the B bomb site. The only light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that only RPK is here.
What? Only good for 1 kill is RPK. Happy's already rotated around and taken up position on short, and now there's a man up in the apartments as well, closing the gap. It's Apex who looks to shut this whole round down. Yell hasn't been able to pick up the AWP, but yeah, he's completely surrounded. No armor on him either. A 10th round for Vitality. Last round of the first half coming up. And for Luminosity, they're trying to just scrape 5 rounds under their belt. They will have a buy up into this one here. But you are bang on, you hit the nail on the head. You know, Luminosity, they're very reliant on having this AWP up in Henny's hands, and they haven't really had the money to run it as much as they would have liked. Vitality, they have no such issue. They have a double AWP into most of these rounds. Apex going to boost himself up onto short early on. MBK picking a fight with Lucas at ramp and winning it out applies that much more pressure and that much more emphasis onto this mid play now from Luminosity. They have to try and find something on the back of it because they've lost the man early on and they've gained nothing from it.
Vitality still expecting some kind of faster B approach. They had 3 players stacked up on that bomb site, but it couldn't be more wrong. Nekis is pressuring in mid, and he's found another pick onto MBK falling off the stairs. Apex will retrieve some damage onto Yell, and in fact, he's just dropped the bomb towards top as well. Nekis, how has he not got that frag while Apex peeked out wide? It's going to really be a problem for Luminosity, stuck in a 2-on-3. Nade's still raining in, Peek's still coming through, Vitality keeping up the pressure, and Nekis is down to just 12 points of health. He is not long for this world. Steel, all that remains in this 1v3, but he has started off.
Yeah, he's got the ball rolling now. He just needs to keep it going. Apex brought down to 5 HP, and ZywOo left up in this round. The bomb is under their control, so for Steel, he's got to fight for every little edge he can get. And a first, try and win the fight on Apex. Indeed he does. Fastest man alive might be Steel. And now the 1v1. ZywOo still tucked away, going to get the timing right. And Steel looks disappointed as ever with that on 11-4 half. Vitality here. A monstrous lead on the map pick of Luminosity. They're still looking cool as cucumbers up on the stage. Luminosity, not so much. Yeah, usually a very animated team. That's what we say. You know, normally you can tell the happiness, you can tell when they're feeling confident, and right now they certainly don't look it.
And, you know, while it's been ZywOo who's been, in some sense, the hard carry, right, for this Vitality roster throughout this tournament, it's not right now, not in this game. Apex is sitting top of that board, MBK sitting right below him, and while ZywOo is playing out of his mind, I mean, he's 13-3. He's not exactly dying. It's interesting enough to see Apex up there. He's not really been the star performer so far this event for Vitality, so a fresh face up the top of the screen. And Vitality, what a dominant half as well. I mean, that's not even close. 4 rounds on the T side of this map. Luminosity, they are going to need a saving grace as we head into that second half. And considering how confident Vitality have looked from the get-go, I mean, even look at that opening pistol round where they put 4 players on the A site and even chased down ramp. These guys are gunning for the trophy here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you think about a Happy and RPK, I mean, technically they're trying to defend the title that they've maintained from last year when they were able to win this out with Team Envy back in 2017. And they're looking to show that now they've got what it takes here with Team Vitality. You know, they've trimmed the fat. It's a new look French team, and it's working out for them right now. Luminosity over on this CT side have to try and dig deep, and this is certainly not the setup for it. It's a retake setup for this A bomb site. Only Yell here. And as he backs off, Vitality, they've swarmed on into this one. This A bomb site's already overrun with Frenchmen.
Yeah, the bomb's down as well for Vitality. It's a full retake setup for Luminosity, but they're already getting aggressive in the CT spawn. RPK, he's going to be the first point of contact, and there's going to be 5 players on the other side. Look at this burst from Luminosity. They all come around at the same time. It's a mess. It's a massacre, and ZywOo's going to get 2, and he's still alive with a trade, and he makes it a double as well. This retake is well and truly on.
Yeah, Henny and Yell, the two that try and split that AWP responsibility, left up now only with pistols. The sidearm's going to try and get this job done, and Henny, 3rd kill of the round, is Happy up in the palace. Does tag down the first man, and Yell's playing around on the bomb. Happy's just toying with him, and Vitality, a 12th round, they go ahead and take that 2nd pistol as well, and Happy, he does crack a smile.
Yeah, I don't blame him after that, after all. Of course, you know, a bit of a mess in CT spawn. I like to see the Luminosity fully rotated to get into position. And Henny, he does come back into his own in some way. Now seeing maybe Henny on the CT side with the potential to pull out that AWP. This could be something for Luminosity, but really we're clutching at straws, Harry. It's 12-4 right now. Vitality going to have the chance to run away with the early start of this half. Luminosity, not much to play with. They brought up a little bit. Henny's gone for a shotgun, but I mean, this just spells like lack of confidence for me, right? You're not even saving for that AWP to come through in just a couple of rounds. With you buying a shotgun in round number 2, that's going to really, you know, come back to bite you in terms of the money. Considering the rest of Luminosity are pretty standard on eco as well, just pistols. Vitality, 3 rifles to play with already an entry frag.
Yeah, Apex, you highlighted him at halftime. Someone leading the charge right now for Vitality, at least in this matchup. It was ZywOo earlier on. And well now, man advantage gained for Vitality in this round. They're just going to look to try and keep things clean. It's back towards A. They head slowly but surely, encroaching into the turf of Yell, who sits back in CT spawn. Gonna have this Eagle, and Yell's got a lot to try and answer with. We'll get forced off the angle as RPK tries to take this fight. That smoke rains down, and that's going to block off CT. So for the time being, they can just ignore the man that resides here Vitality looking to keep their 13th round very, very clean indeed. And they will. 5 players staying alive. That Mag 7 on Henny gets absolutely nothing done. And one of the biggest strengths for me with this Luminosity squad, when we spoke about it, there was the potential for this double AWP between Henny and Yell. And the worry I'm having now is that we're never going to have the money for them to bring that out.
Yeah, we're running out of opportunities here for Luminosity. 13-4. Another eco coming through. Henny going for a second eco is at least going to be able to pull the AWP up in the upcoming round. But at that point, you're up against 14 rounds, Harry. You're really not exactly comfortable, are Luminosity. And considering this is their map pick as well, we've really not seen too much from this team. Not what we expected, considering that they've been pretty damn good on this map all throughout the tournament as well. But Vitality just that little bit better right now. Still running the anti-eco bonus. Steel on a bit of armor, everyone else under-equipped, and Vitality, a fast take of mid already coming through. We have 2 players coming in from the top. We've got Apex down lower as well. MBK sneaking into B, and there's a bit of a stack here from Luminosity, so if Vitality splits short with that bomb, it could be a bit of a problem, but you still got to remember, these guys are unarmored, they are under-equipped, but Lucas, he still finds that opening kill. That might make things doable.
I mean, that reply comes in straight away from Vitality. Anything that Luminosity do, they answer back with twice the force. They're going to go to nade down Lucas, finish him off with MBK up in the apartments, and now walking into this B bomb site. Neckers has picked up one. Henny going to go and tag down the other man over at short, and that is the bomb drop. ZywOo's going to fall short. And now the rest of the rotation's coming on in. Happy going to try and take up position at short. MBK does bail them out right now. And Happy, easy does it, sneaking on in, going to go and pick up this bomb, trying to clear out bench, and for the time being, Henny will go undetected. Going to try and emerge now, and has done damage onto MBK, but ultimately no armor, very low HP on those last 2 remaining players. Vitality able to close that round out.
Yeah, MBK is the savior of that round, right? Just him being at that van is such a problem for Luminosity that they can't put all their full focus on that bomb drop down on short. If they do, maybe they catch Happy moving up from short and swapping over to the AK, picking up that bomb. But no, Luminosity, we're far too focused on the player down on van, and for good reason. Vitality, 14 rounds to 4. Luminosity have the double AWP into this first buy round coming through, but there's none on Vitality. Henny's not given the ability to find an early pick down towards mid, because Vitality have slowed down the pace after all. They've got Happy down in the underpass. It's a pretty standard setup, all things considered, here for the Brazilians. Actually, a bit more aggression over on mid now that Neckers has moved into the connector, and he's going to be needed. Vitality are deep up in middle as well. Now Neckers going to try and put some damage down the way of MBK, but Apex is already there with a quick trade. He's found the first kill. Steel's trying to push up through the smoke in short, but he's going to get tagged down and pushed back as well. RBK even sending him packing with a bullet.
Will they be ready for Lucas, though, who now quickly tries to fall into place here at short and take up the position of Steel, continue where he left off. Vitality overwhelming this window portion of the map. ZywOo's going to be here. They have really just cut this defense in 2. You have the 2 B bomb site boys in the form of Lucas and Henny. Yell's going to be left to try and lock down 8. And it's these 2 players up in window and ladder that's going to really cause some problems for Luminosity. They're going to try and take this fight onto RPK, and they do spot the bomb out. That prompts the rotation from Yell, but ZywOo's already waiting to cut these rotations off, and that's the biggest problem. This man in the backline, the linchpin, the fail-safe for Vitality. Henny, missed shot inside of B, and he's got a lot more work to do. There's the first man come out. Ooh, RPK found up close. Happy's going to get tagged. And there's ZywOo cutting these rotations down. A map point here for Vitality, and what a dominant fashion this has been heading into this grand finals. I'm expecting a very back and forth opening map. Vitality, they're looking to try and send a bit of a message here in this grand final.
Yeah, and that's such a horrible round for Luminosity to actually endure, right? They know that RPK's up in ladder, or at least Yell looked aware of the possibility of that boost in window as well, but Luminosity have no idea where the bomb's going, and that's the big problem. If you have these aggressive positions on Vitality, you can just split the bomb in through T-spawn, and it can go to either A or B, and Luminosity just have to gamble at that point. So a 3-on-4 that looked almost undoable with the positions Vitality had, and that's been the story of this entire game so far. Happy even finding the opener, and we're starting to reach the end of the map here, Harry, unless Luminosity have a response. If they do, they need to pull it out right here, right now. MBK pressure on B. That smoke is going to make Luminosity question as well, and even if they don't commit to it, it will keep these two CTs in position for at least the next 20 or so seconds. That gives ample time for Vitality to rotate the bomb back into middle, and with a man up in the Palace already who's found a pick on A, that just makes the A site look even more luscious.
Yeah, luscious is one word for it, one word for a bloodbath. 2 players here for Luminosity left standing. Vitality, though, they might skip it altogether. They do have ZywOo locking down the short position. Yell and Henny in responses, they know they've given up mid. They're going to try and take ramp, but they have to watch the timing. And this is actually the one place that Vitality don't have anybody. Now they're going to get heard rearing their heads from connector, and these MP9s both going to try and do work from range. Apex goes peeking into it and does dispatch to the first man. Surely there's no way he's ready for Yell. So they will manage to find a couple of frags, start to claw their way back into this round. Luminosity trying to pick this game up, but MBK smiting down Steel in the connector. RPK now picking up one of his own in the blink of an eye. It's only Yell left standing, and they know exactly where he is. He's got a lot to do, and 3 players still yet to find. That Molotov is going to force RPK out into the open, but they double peek into him, and Vitality going to be picking up this map, convincingly so. 16-4 here on Mirage. The map pick of Luminosity going the way of the Frenchman as they move 1-0 up in this grand final series.
And I mean, over on paper, that is just the Vitality that we should expect, really, with some of the names on this team and some of the performances these guys have been having in recent. So, yeah, Vitality just coming above and beyond, but I can't say it wasn't down to some of Luminosity's mistakes. I mean, that T-side looked pretty flat, very slow executes. They had troubles taking even mid-control on Mirage, which, if you're having trouble doing that, I don't really know what to say. I mean, this is not the Luminosity that we've been seeing run through this entire event so far.
No, not one bit. And, you know, then you kind of think